Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
It's like a legend and an outerworld bum with a lot of light.
Hello, you crazy dirt fucker!
Party time!
Yes, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. I'm Izzy Presley, and this is Metal Edge Magazine's another effing podcast. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Joining me, as always, is my co-host from Metal Edge Magazine, Mr. Paul Gargano.
Hello. How are you doing, Izzy?
I can't complain. Still nursing a two-day hangover. I mean, I could complain.
If you can't complain, that's a famous first.
Well, look, this is my thing. I could complain, but nobody would give a shit. So why?
Yeah.
There you go. Make sure you guys do hit up
including all three of us on here with you.
Yes, exactly. Especially the guy that I just met. We'll get to these guys in one quick second. Make sure you guys do hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show page is Another Effing Podcast for now on Facebook. And of course, most importantly, follow Metal Edge Magazine on Facebook, Metal Edge Mag on the Twitter, and Metal Edge Magazine on the Instagram. And of course, my co-host, Mr. Paul Gargano on Instagram and on Twitter, which he never uses. And don't even fuck with Facebook.
Don't waste your time following me on Twitter. No, Facebook. You have a better shot with Facebook than Twitter.
Yeah, I guess.
I tapped out of Twitter years ago.
Oh, yeah. And I forget, in the words of my close personal friend, Stone Cold Steve Austin, crack one for the working man. Cheers, everybody.
Oh,
welcoming to the show.
I'll drink tea to that.
Yeah, I got a glass of gin.
I don't have anything.
Gin, straight gin.
He is returning for, I think this is your fourth time, Richie. Richie Kotzen, everybody. Welcome back. It's good to have you.
How you doing?
Dude, I'm great. How bad could I be? Look at what I got in front of me. And first timer from Iron Maiden, and these guys are Smith Kotzen, Mr. Adrian Smith. Good day,
Adrian.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
And Paul kind of stole my thank you so much. Paul kind of stole my joke. You guys were supposed to debut on Saturday, but I was thinking, like, ever since Saturday, hey, these guys postponed it so they could do this show and talk to Paul and myself before they have their actual first show in 3 days.
Sure. It is. It's coming
First of all, I'd like to apologize for any inconvenience of the cancelled show. It was just one of those things, unforeseen circumstances, a lot of boring things that people don't want to hear about. But once again, we're really sorry about it. We were desperately looking forward to playing. The good news is they've rescheduled the show for the 28th, I think. 28th in Ventura. And, it's the closest thing we're going to have to a hometown gig because Richie lives in Ventura County.
No, I'm in LA County.
Oh, nice.
Oh, forget us.
I should have did that.
What I was going to say was, we're going to have a lot of friends and family there, and it should be a good night. So we're really looking forward to that. But once again, really sorry, for anyone who got inconvenienced by the cancellation of the gig.
I'm excited for it because it was supposed to be Thursday, and that's the night we leave for Shiprocks. But now it's the night after we get back from Shiprocks, so we might actually have a chance. Rika and I might have a chance to make the Ventura one, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to thank you for the inconvenience. This album, both albums, I have to say, are fantastic. The vinyl collector in me is not happy that the EP is only out on Record Store Day because that makes everything so much harder to find physical copies of. For physical, you could obviously stream it, but the just fantastic job on both of them.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't know that about the vinyl thing. It's difficult to get a hold of. I'm sure there's ways to.
It's because it's well, there's the secondhand market, but it's record store day. So when they do the record store day, and it's actually a really good thing, because when you do the record store day releases, it drives people to the independent record stores because that's the only place they can get them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and then usually after a period of time, after a sell-through amount of time, they go to the general public. But a lot of times it's like smaller runs and stuff. So I've been looking for it. We'll find it, and then you'll have a chance to put it out again later.
Ventura, I'll give you one.
It's on a bit of vinyl.
Yeah.
Can't you get that on it? Can't you
There
get
you go.
Amazon or order it somewhere?
I
What?
looked on the website and I didn't see it. So maybe it's sold out. I don't know. I don't know.
And then maybe it's a limited thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably
Well, for record
usually
store day, they always are. Yeah, but it's
Oh.
fantastic.
Were the songs for the EP, were they left over from the record, or were they written for the E EP?
No. Well, two of them we had, didn't we have
Did
two
we?
of them? Yeah, I think the one that Mike played on.
Yes.
And there was another one, the other one.
Hate and Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had those two, Hate and Love and Rise Again. Rise Again, Richie sent me the drums. It's just this insane drum track that Mike Portnoy did. And he said, what do you make of this? And so I said, I'll put it up on my studio. I was like, whoa. So we managed to make a song out of it, Rise Again, which actually turned out quite interesting. I've never done that before. Someone give you a drum track and you're trying to write a song around it.
Yeah.
That was fun. And at that stage, we weren't in the same country. So we were working down the wire, as to say, as you can do now with Pro Tools and sending ideas back and forth. Hate and Love, well, that's an interesting story, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a song. That actually was another song. And then we had decided that it wasn't going right. And so I went and took everything off except for the drums. And I put another couple of chords on there and a riff. And then it became something very different. And then we finished it that way, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere there's another version of that doesn't sound anything like that.
So the drums that are on there,
Wow.
the drummer actually laid down to another song. And then we wiped all the music off and used the drum track. Bizarre. But
Wow.
I know. Crazy.
So you actually, so wait, the drums were recorded for another track altogether?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then he wiped the music, played it, because we weren't sure about the song. We liked the drums. So we keep those, then we write something else. And that became Hate and Love. And
Wait, so you wrote the song around the drums that you liked from the other song? Or was it a different version of Hate and Love?
no, what was it? It was a song called
It's a different title.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember, to be honest. And the song Better Days, Better Days and Hold On Me were something actually we wrote in here where we are now, Richie's house. We were together. Better Days, I had the riff, brought it in. Richie added the chorus, and Bob's Your Uncle. Hold On Me was written, or it was conceived. Can I say that? In this, right as we were sitting here having a cup of coffee, we said we need a fast song.
Yeah, it was.
So we said, what about this?
Adrian was here, and then behind the computer that you can't see is the kitchen. So there's like a bar that we're sitting at, and we were having a coffee. And I said, he said, we should have something up tempo. And I said, yeah, like it goes like this. And I started, and it stops, and then it goes, and then this happened. And I literally, right?
Yeah, we ran downstairs. You got a studio downstairs, and we
It was pretty funny.
Just
way.
that quick.
Yeah.
Adrian, now writing with Richie, I mean, obviously you're used to writing with Maiden, you're used to writing these long, epic, 14-minute songs. I mean, how was it for you? I mean, to switch over and just do these nice little 3.5, 4.5 minute rock songs.
Mere 6-minute songs. Yeah. It's very, very different. Yeah. But Richie and I, we originally met, or we started jamming. I've got a little studio at my house, and Richie come over. We have parties there. We jam. We play Bad Company, Free, Humble Pie and Stevie Ray, we were both jamming away. You know, we realized we had that kind of, I love that 70s sort of blues rock, you know, hard rock. So then my wife actually said, you know, why don't you get together and do some writing, you two, you know. So we got together, and the first afternoon we got together, we had a song called Running. I come over with a riff, Richie come over, of course. It's like building blocks, you know. I'd come in with something, Richie would have something. I was there, and we just built it, and it just, the chemistry was, you know, just happened really, really naturally. So obviously with Maiden, we've been doing that a long time, and especially on this last album we did, there's like 3 songs on there. Like I think the longest Maiden songs ever done. We actually. They were so long we couldn't play them from start to finish. We just recorded them in bits, and then edited them together. Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, when we go live, we'll have to figure it out. I mean, we did that in the day with a song called "Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner" back in the day. We did that in bits as well, because you know you can spend 2-3 days learning the thing and play it from start to finish, or you can just say, right, look, we're in the studio, let's not pretend, and just do it in bits and then edit it together, you know. And then figure, when you got to play live, figure it out and play it, you know.
Yeah, right. Richie, have you ever
figured out?
Richie, have you ever written like that, recorded like that?
You mean a piece and then splice it in? Yeah, you know, sometimes actually the Winery Dogs, and I forgot about this until Mike Portnoy reminded me, but the song Elevate, elevate, you take me higher, or elevate me, take me higher, that existed, and before the band even was a thought. And along with it, can you get me back on my feet, that riff to I'm No Angel. And Mike tells me that they were together at one time. So apparently I had written the verse to I'm No Angel, and then it went into the chorus of Elevate. That was a song. And it was this idea to pull it apart. And then I had some other parts that we put in. So I kind of did that, but we didn't record. It sounds like Adrian, like you guys actually as a band recorded the album and then stopped and then did another track.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that we ever, I might have did that with Stanley when we made that Vertu album, because there was some pretty complex stuff on there. But honestly, I don't remember.
I think the thing is with the Maiden tracks, I mean, the stuff that Steve writes, you know, they quite often you almost get 3 songs, you know, in one. There can be a tempo change, key change. So it's almost logical to record them separately. And then do it when you record them, you know. Right.
Yeah. Was there? I mean, for this, the last time you did something solo, unless I'm missing something, was ASAP, right, Adrian? Did you do an album? You did one album after that, actually. I'm remembering one after that now. Yeah. So it was ASAP.
A few actually.
A few. Okay.
I did ASAP at the end of the 80s. Then I had a band called Psycho Motel. So,
okay. I forgot about Psycho Motel.
Yeah. And I did 2 albums there with 2 different singers. But and then I did an album with a guy called Mikey Goodman, who was a singer out of a band called Sixth, about 6 years ago, which was like for want of a better word, a new metal album, very dark, detuned, crazy vocals, you know. So yeah, I like to do, you know, things outside the band.
Well, this was more. This reminded me of ASAP a little bit more personally. I mean, I thought it was more in that vein.
Yeah.
And do you have songs sitting around that because this is very much like you said, your style. Do you have songs that you're working on constantly, then you bring them to Richie, or vice versa, Richie, you with Adrian, or is this stuff literally that you guys just came up with together, like just and workshopped it?
I think the beauty of this is, I mean, you know, is to be, you know, get inspiration from the people you're working with. And it doesn't always work. You know, I've sat down with some quite well-known people, and you don't know them. You sat there with your guitar and you play them an idea, and it just doesn't you know, it can be a bit awkward. But with Richie, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking of Richie singing and playing, and I'm sitting at home and I think, yeah, it's a vibe, it's a feel, you know. Take something. I know he'll like this because he could do this really well, you know. I can just hear him doing it. It's the same for Maiden. If I'm sitting there trying to write something for Maiden, you know, I imagine Bruce singing it. I imagine Nick, you know, pounding the kit. It's all there in your head, you know, and you can sort of visualize it. It's the same with Richie.
How much went into the, because I love just the back and forth with the vocals, and like how much went into that? Was it the fact that you guys were friends first make it easy for you to give and take and know when one person's going to come in and the other one's going to go out, or was that just as complicated as the songs actually? I mean, where did that all come from?
I think a lot of it was kind of dictated by well, I was going to say some of it was dictated by who wrote what lyric, but that's not entirely true because there are lyrics that I wrote that I didn't sing, and there's lyrics that he wrote that he might not have sung in a verse here or there. But it just kind of, it was very even flow, I guess is the word, right? It just kind of flowed together. Like I got this idea for a melody, and then he'd say, well, what if it did this? And he'd sing something. I'm like, cool, drop that in.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know,
put it down,
like that. And then I'd go, all right, well, let me try something here. Like, for example, the song Scars, Adrian had that verse. And then when that riff came, I remember I said, let me try something. And that was really an improv that when my voice comes in, I might have even kept it the first time around. It was an improvisation. And it worked. And then with the chorus, we figured, well, we'll keep the same tonality, same singer for the chorus, but then we'd sit down, we'd work the words out. Well, what do you want to say here? What's the story? A lot of conversation about, you know, the character we're writing about, you know, and a lot of emphasis and time was spent on the lyrics because both of us are of the school that if you don't have a point of view or a story, you don't have a song. You gotta be singing about something.
Yeah, well, you've done how many solo albums? I mean, you've done something
more than anyone would care to listen to.
Impressive body of work.
In their right mind.
Richie probably more than I did. I always kind of, you know, how many your favorite rock songs when you were a kid you loved, but you didn't know what the words were. Just sounded really good, right?
Yeah.
But we spent a lot of time, and Richie was, you know, very spot on about having a story and making sense of it. You come up with these phrases and stuff that sounds good, but you got to tie it together. It's a real art. I mean, you know, I learned a lot of Richie doing that because he puts a lot of emphasis on his lyrics, and it is very important. You know, is the icing on the cake. You know,
as far as like guitar playing goes, you know, Richie, obviously, you know that I hail you on guitar. I mean, come on. I mean, look behind me.
I'm going to send you a couple of links to some good guitar playing.
but Richie, the thing that I do love about your guitar playing is like you can shred when you want to, but you're very controlled. And for Adrian, for this, I mean, for both of you, I mean, was it hard to just wrangle it in and not just go crazy and make just a full-blown balls out guitar record?
No, because I don't think either one of us are like guitar crazy. Like, you know, I mean, to speak for myself, my most played song as a solo artist, like the song that got the most, what do they call it, streams or whatever, there's not a guitar solo in it. You know what I mean? So my main purpose or function, you know, when I'm writing a song, it's like we just discussed. That's the point, is the story, the lyric, the melody. And then oftentimes, like the guitar solo is usually the last thing I think about. I'm not even worried about that. It's not even in my mind. But that's probably because I'm a singer, you know. And you know, so if all I did was play the guitar, then I probably have a completely different perspective on things. But that isn't the case. And the same, I mean, Adrian, you're a singer too, so I think that comes into play.
Yeah. One thing this album did is give me a bit more space to sort of, I love blues, rock blues. I love not the old blues maybe, but your Gary Moore, even going back to Cream, Clapton, Gary Moore, Stevie Ray, all that sort of thing. I do love that. I love the phrasing. And when you got to, it's an art, to get the phrasing right. You're only playing a few notes. Paul Kossoff from Free was a prime example. But so doing this album gave me a little bit more of a chance to sort of explore that side of it, melodic phrasing, more blues influence, feel. But it's about the song, it's all very well, but you got to have the song, something to work around. So we put a lot of emphasis on that.
It seems like the stuff on this just meshed. I mean, it just meshed really, really well. Did it take you a long time? I mean, I know when you guys recorded, when 20? It was early 20, right?
I think so.
That you recorded?
Yeah. I mean, when the lockdown happened.
It was done before the lockdown.
And we mixed it during the lockdown. Yeah. We sent it over to Kevin. Yeah, we sent it over to Kevin. He was in Australia.
Right. Yeah.
And he was mixing it while we were stuck waiting to see what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But it didn't take that long, no, really. It was just two of us in the studio. Sometimes in a band situation.
And
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say that's what was so remarkable to me, because you guys did a lot of the production yourselves. You self-produced it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's only two of you, with a band, it can be a committee thing,
Yeah.
Go through this process of, approval, disapproval, but with us, it's, we had the chemistry. We both pretty much heading in the same direction. So it was very quick,
Well, and like Richie, I mean, being the solo artist you are, it's like you're used to doing everything by yourself and not having your producer. And I'm assuming Maiden's got a producer. I mean,
Kevin, yeah.
Not having somebody there to say, no, that's wrong, do this. No, that's wrong, try it like this. Instead of, I mean, how different is that? And how tough is that?
We really kind of implemented the same kind of template that I use when I make my records, in the sense that my studio is like everything. Once everything's set up, like the drums are there, they're mic'd. There's a bass signal channel. There's a guitar signal path. There's a vocal signal path. Once all that's set up, you can maneuver and bounce around. And so initially, how this started was, like I think the first song we might have did was Running. Is that right?
Yep.
Running.
Sure.
And so he had the riff and he put it down against a click track. And then I went into drum room, just kind of played a beat to that. I didn't know where the song was going to go. So I made a loop out of it. And that gave us something to work off of. And then we started messing around with choruses and just played a couple chords, and then a melody came. And then so all of a sudden we had a form recorded ultimately to the same beat. And so you have a form. And then later I went in there and I replayed the drums and I played to the form. And then out of that little things would come, let me cop that accent stuff. And the same thing with Taking My Chances. And I think we had 3 or 4 that kind of came together. We just kept, like it's like you're
very quick,
chiseling away or whatever you're doing, adding a little here, pulling a little off there. And then once that kind of got our rhythm going, where we kind of trusted each other. And like if I did something, he might say, you know what? You don't need to do that there. Just drop that section. Just go straight to this section, that kind of thing. I think what makes it so much easier is because you're in a position where you can engineer yourself with the way technology is. And I used to have a tape machine in my studio, and I would actually, I learned how to cut, 24 track 2-inch tape. And so I know that world too, but it's so much faster with Pro Tools, and we can just try this, try that, save that version. Let's do another,
Yeah, but you're, I mean, I can run Pro Tools all right, but Richie's, very good at technically all that stuff, so we can get stuff quick,
And how how good of a drummer are you? I had no. I mean, obviously you're good. You played all the drums on the record. I had no idea, Richie.
Not
I mean,
all of it.
it's
Not all of it.
not, not all of it. Okay.
No, I played on 4 or 5 songs, 5 songs maybe, and then our friend Tal Bergman played on, and Nico played on one song.
Nico McBrain played on a song called Solar.
And then on the EP, there was a song that Mike Portnoy played on, which is came about interesting. Adrian talked a little bit about it, but when the lockdown happened, and this is because the album was done, but for the lockdown, the EP, it was still in development. And I was talking a lot to Mike, and I said, hey, when you're bored, send me like 4 or 5 drum tracks that are like this, like forms. It's like, what do you mean? Like imagine in your mind an intro, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a solo, and chorus out, like just a form. And he said, oh wow, I never did that before. So yeah, and give me like 4 different tempos, 4 different feels. So he did one, and I turned it into a song that I released called Raise the Cane. It was the one song that I put up during the lockdown, and I made a video for it. And then when we were talking about the EP, I thought, well, I have a couple of these tracks from Mike, and I sent one to Adrian. So he developed the song Rise Again. So there's some other drums. To answer your question of how good of a drummer am I, not very good at all, but play what I can play a certain style really well.
Okay.
And it's my style. It's like what I would want a drummer to do. So like on a lot of my albums, I play my own drums because it feels the way I want it to feel. And in the event, which it does happen, in the event that I write a song that I can't play what I hear in my head, and it totally happens a lot, I'll call someone in to play it.
Okay.
The song Riot, for example, I heard all these parts and I couldn't physically do it. So I called somebody to do it.
Okay.
I remember we were writing a song called on the Smith Kotzen album called Glory Road. And I had the riff. And he said, well, instead of, doing the drum machine thing, I'll go downstairs and you play the riff and I'll play along to it. And we played it, the whole thing, all the way through the song. And I kept saying, I think it was, he's going to mess up in a minute. He's going to mess up, but he didn't. I don't know if that's a take that ended up in the album, but
just really quick from the chat room, Scotty checking in from Canada, actually checking in from a hospital bed because he fell down and went boom this afternoon. He's doing fine. He's doing fine, but they're holding him. He's gotten painkillers, but he wanted to know which is that most streamed Richie Kotzen song you were talking about.
You Can't Save Me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Because I would fall into a bottle of Jack Daniels by accident, and I've posted that song so many times, hammered. You could probably thank me for that. So.
I see you have one of my guitars in the background. Do you know how to play that song yet on that guitar?
Not all the way through, but
I'll have to show you.
Yes, you absolutely should.
But after a bottle of Jack Daniels, Izzy will try.
Play anything when you've had a bottle of Jack Daniels. You think you can play anything?
Yeah, right. Was there any talk?
I know I can't play anything, so it doesn't. No matter how much Jack Daniels you give me.
Actually, let's talk about your touring band that you have with you. I know you have Julia playing bass, but you had like Chris Wise in the video. Yeah. And then what was the idea? I mean, Julia's amazing bass player. What was the idea of going with her, and then with the drummer that you have too?
Well, yeah, Chris Wise is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He did the videos back in March, I think, when we did video for Solar Fire and Better Days. And then it all went a bit quiet, and then we were thinking about touring. We were getting offers in for gigs, and it wasn't quite right, the timing and stuff. And then all of a sudden we said, look, the hell with it. Let's just go out and do some gigs, come on. Because it's very difficult right now, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So, Julia, it was a crime not to use Julia, because she's right there. She knows all the songs, because we were blasting it out when she was in the house. She knows it. So and she's got a tremendous feel. We played today, run through the set today, and she's just amazing, really amazing. Really gives the song's another dimension. Oh, is she here?
She's sitting over there.
Oh, she's here.
Stick your head in, Julia. Say
They
hello.
really.
What up, Julia?
Yeah, here she is. Here she comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julia Lage.
Looking forward to see you guys.
Hello.
You've got to see Julia play. She's great. And, it gives such dimension to the song. I think bass is very important.
Yeah.
I like playing. I sneak a little bit. I played 3 songs on the album. I love the way that good bass line can add dimension to a song.
Mm-hmm.
So, Julia just fits in perfectly,
Well, obviously we haven't heard it live yet, but how does having a female voice in the band add to the elements of the songs?
She don't have a microphone. We don't know.
We don't know. And she sings very well, but at the moment Richie and I just.
She got a great voice, though. I mean, she does.
Yeah.
But we know we've been trying to put it together because it's a different thing for both of us, because it's different, obviously, for Adrian because he's singing lead and playing lead guitar and co-fronting. I was going to just say fronting, but we're both fronting it. But for me, it's different too, not to the degree that I'm fronting it because I'm accustomed to that, but to the degree that I'm sharing it. And so there's parts. The album is one thing. When you're in the studio, you're kind of blasting overdubs and this pile it on. It's great. But live, certain things that has to make sense for 2 people to do, not, endless overdub ability.
Right.
And, so we really just wanted to, there was plenty of moving parts. We just wanted to deal with the ones, the essentials.
Yeah.
And so we didn't really put any mics up for Bruno or Julia. Not that it wouldn't be great to do, it would be, but just based on the time we have and all the things that we're trying to get together to throw in like a third harmony and for now at least, what I mean?
Yeah.
Once we get to England, we'll have played the set, maybe we can, bring in some extra backgrounds or but that's why. But she got a great voice. Sing better than me, so. She's making faces. She's a fool out of it.
I was about to say, she's like behind you making faces, isn't she?
Anyway.
So the first run of dates is all California. You're doing a pretty extensive California run here.
Vegas.
And Vegas. There is Vegas? Okay. What do you plan on going out farther?
Yeah, the UK.
UK, we're doing 5, 6.
Or, I meant farther in America, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, those dates just came up and we grabbed them and we thought we'd do it. I mean, we committed ourselves and then we started figuring out how we're going to do it. Obviously, it would have been great to go further afield, but it's just really, it's a bit risky.
Yes, it's a real problem.
In this time. And then once you start investing a lot of money, which you have to do up front for a tour, and then have it all blow down, it's
catastrophe.
Yeah. So we just thought, we just want to go out and test the waters and wanted to try the songs out and see how they played out live. We didn't know. We didn't want to go and do it, So that's a lot of it. It's, again, if people are disappointed we're not coming to town, but you must understand it's very, very difficult at the moment. I don't want to say the C word, but
if we lived in New York, we'd be playing the Northeast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Easy just to just try and do like 4 or 5 or 6 shows in an area that we can literally drive to and go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think a lot of people don't realize too, it's almost, in a lot of ways, it's almost easier to go out on the road when you're the size of Maiden, because your infrastructure could be self-contained a little bit easier, and you could isolate. I mean, a lot of the tours we saw go out at the start of this were more the stadium tours, and not the club tours are just tougher right now.
Yes, it is tough. Yeah, but hopefully.
And your overhead, like you said, the overhead's different.
Yeah. But got to keep that music going. You've got to get out there and play if you can.
Right.
As long as everyone's going to be, safe and sensible. So, we are so looking forward to going out and playing.
Let's talk about Bruno Valverde, who you have playing drums. Where did you find him?
I saw him play with a good friend of mine named Hoffa Moriera.
Oh yeah.
Did I say his name right?
Oh yeah, Hoffa. Love him.
Fantastic guitar player. And they were doing like a Brazilian fusion thing at the Baked Potato. And I thought to myself that our tour manager's calling right now. He doesn't know I'm on a live interview.
Oh,
To put him on, give some insight into touring.
yeah. Got a caddy. Yeah.
And anyway, so I saw them play at the, there were 4 of them, right, Julia, the keyboard player, and they were just fantastic. And the drummer just stuck out to me as special. He was just playing. It was that kind of thing where you see a guy say, okay, this guy can play anything he wants to at any given moment. You know, those kind of musicians that are just super connected. And then when this came about, I wanted to give him a shot, you know, with us and see how it was. And Adrian came in and he really loved what he's doing.
Yeah. Again, he adds.
And we also wanted to do, the other thing is too, like we wanted to keep it different, you know, like we discussed, like we didn't want it to look like we could have called like, you know, my solo band, for example, the guys who play for me, you know, Tal and Dylan. But we thought, you know, let's make it something different, both musically and visually too, so that people just don't look and it's like, oh, they just picked up Richie's rhythm section and put it in there. And
yeah,
so that's why it was cool to have like, you know, Bruno and Julia, just something different. And they're Brazilian, so they just have a different kind of approach. I mean, you know, it's a different energy. Even when they do the rock thing, they do it as good as anybody, but there's still a little bit of a twist, which is actually inspiring. Yeah. You know, so it's cool.
Just, I don't know what they're doing, but it sounds good.
Yeah. They start talking in
I don't know what it
Portuguese,
is, but it's good.
and then we don't know what they're saying, right? Today they were going back and
talk
forth.
about us in between songs. They're like,
did you have anybody else in mind before you brought Bruno in?
No, I mean, we didn't know we were going to play. Honestly, we didn't know what we were doing. And what happened was it was all just by timing. You know, Natalie and Adrian came into town, and Adrian said, "Hey, we're going to be there for a couple of months. You want to write some more songs?" And we did get together, and we did record about 7 things that are like in the works. We have some demo stuff that are in the works. And then we started thinking, man, here, why don't we play? And when Julia was in the house and we're talking about it, and then it just kind of boom, just made sense. Let's go call Bruno, see what it is, and put it together. You know, it was real easy.
Yeah.
Are you considering any covers for the set? I mean, you probably have the set down at this point. I mean, I presume it'll be most of the material you have.
We got the 13 songs we wrote that are out, which is the EP and the album. And then we don't want to tell you what's in the set because then a little bit of something to look forward to, you know what I mean? A surprise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me ask you this, Richie, is there any point of the set where you have to pick up a pick and do a certain shuffle?
I'll tell you what, I am using a guitar throughout the set.
Wow. Adrian, I have this thing where I just call it the Maiden Shuffle. The dun 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 dun. Yeah. That's why I call the Maiden Shuffle. Yeah.
Pedal. Yeah.
I wasn't even going there. I was more interested in some like the old bluesy, like, you know, some of the stuff we might not expect to hear that I think could be fun, but I guess we'll just have to find out. Everyone's going to find out before I do, because I won't find out till Ventura.
After the first show, it'll all be out anyway. So
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm kind of happy that, I mean, obviously not happy that the show was canceled or postponed, but you know, not it's boom. It's nice because it's still that anticipation about what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
You'll see it first, Izzy.
Yeah, I'll see it first. Actually, I'll probably see it twice because I'm contemplating road tripping up to Vegas too. Why not?
Cool.
Go see our good friend, the Count.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you have other demos you're already working on. So is this kind of a full-time side thing at this point? There's going to be more. Is it a secondary full-time thing? I mean, we can expect to hear more from the two of you?
Yeah, I mean, we started writing with a view to doing another album, and then we got sidetracked.
That's awesome.
By the date. So like Richard says, we've got 6 or 7 things, you know, and it was just taking, you know, where we left off with the EP, just writing as we do, you know. It's enjoyable. You know, I just want to make, I don't want to change the world. I just want to make good rock music, you know.
Yeah.
It's in there, and you just got to do it, you know. You just have to do it, really. It's one of those things.
Adrian, how was it for you? Because obviously with Maiden, you're used to playing monstrous stadium crowds, going to playing clubs.
I'm going to find out pretty soon.
you'll find out.
Get me back on that jet.
Bruce, pick me up.
Get me away from this Kotzen fucking monster.
Yeah, we're going to be on the bus, you know, a little split a bus. We're going to be staying in Red Roof Inns or Holiday Inns. And
we
all
got
that
a proper tour bus.
We got a proper tour bus.
Oh, nice.
And there was a time when I spent so much time on a tour bus in the 80s with Maiden. We used to do back-to-back American tours. We finished one and jumped straight in another one. And I just could not go near a tour bus for so many years after that. I just had like a phobia of it, being incarcerated on a tour bus, you know, like a sardine, you know, in your bunk. Traveling through the night, not knowing what day it was, traveling all night, getting up, checking into the hotel in the middle of the early in the morning, falling asleep, getting up in the middle of the afternoon. Where am I? Go down to the sound check.
Sure you're gonna do this sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Sorry.
I have to be at home for 2 years in my pajamas.
But it was great, you know. I'm talking about the 80s now, but it was fantastic, you know. When we first got the bus, everyone was really excited. Oh, look, there's a coffee machine. Oh, they got this full stop bar and everything else. You know, after like 8 months, you're like, get me out of here. But, we had some fun on them buses, but I'm looking forward to doing the clubs because it's a cliche, but you know, you're close to the audience, and you know, it's not that Maiden isn't real, but I mean, you really get you're up close and personal, you know.
Yeah. With COVID, are you guys going to be like selling meet and greets, or is that just totally boom, not this run, just can't do it, just got to be safe?
Well, I personally didn't even think about meet and greets. I mean, I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. I mean, I do them on my tours. We've been so consumed with the business of, you know, putting a show together and practicing and rehearsing, and it's been very like a whirlwind, you know what I mean? Yeah. Trying to organize it. Really, I mean, one of the components for me, and I was joking about being in my pajamas for 2 years, but I didn't do anything really with this whole situation. And it's a lot of guys, I think, were going in the studio, making albums, or they're coming up with new things. And I mean, I went the other direction. I was at the lumber yard, you know, buying bricks and doing work outside on the house, you know. So when it was like time for a gig, I'm even getting in a mode of like singing and playing and all that, you know. So that's my focus has just been like, you know, oh, how do I do this? I mean, remembering who I am, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's like match fitness, you know. You can do it's like a football player or something. You can train on your own, but you never get that early testing situation till you do a gig and you realize, you know, what it takes, the stamina and the nervous energy you burn up, you know.
Is this the longest you guys have gone without playing?
Yeah. Well, actually, I had a bit of a break in the 90s, but yeah, it's certainly in recent memory.
I mean, definitely in the last 20 years, but it's crazy because that's it. We kind of have to learn how to work again.
You want to hear something funny? And this is real, because I just yawned, and I didn't yawn because I was uninterested or anything, but I yawned because right around this time, and it's like 6:44, usually by 7:30, I'm like laying down watching like Forensic Files or something. And then by 9:30, I'm in a dead sleep.
Wow.
And then I get up at like 4:30 and creep around. So like I'm realizing our first show we're on at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like for me, talking to my wife the other night, I was like, how in the hell am I going to play a show? I got to be on at 10 o'clock. So I don't know. Man,
yeah, we'll have to wake up in the dressing room.
Well, Richie, I tell you, you're gonna have to get back into some sort of shape, because on the boat, the Big E is coming out of retirement, and I'm joining that basketball game.
Oh, right.
And it's on.
Oh, are they doing that again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you would say I've heard about this basketball game.
I made a basket on that game. One basket from the arch. It turned Joel told me after I made that shot, he said it turned the momentum around and we won. I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but I did make a nice shot. Right, Julia? You saw
what is this basketball game? Is
it's like rock stars versus cruisers on the boat. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm playing this year. I know, Richie, you just got added to the boat. I mean, was there any talk about doing Smith Kotzen on there, or was that just get Richie on?
Well, I don't know. They just called me and asked me if I could go, so I went.
Oh, okay.
There you go. It was really that simple.
It was really that simple.
Actually, what happened, I'll tell you what happened, because I know everybody real well in the organization. I said to my manager, I said, what happened? I said, I was on all these cruises and Larry didn't call me. And he said, I guess you fell out of favor with Larry. You have to wait till next year. And then like 2 days later, he called me and said they got a spot for me. So I'm on. I guilt tripped him into putting me on.
I'm still kind of thrown off by Izzy playing basketball. I could actually picture you playing basketball, Richie, before I could picture Izzy playing basketball.
He could probably dunk. Can you dunk?
No, I have no vertical.
I was about to say he would need to be able to.
But I can shoot. I can shoot. Hey, I can play basketball. I can play hockey.
Yeah.
Well, you better be able to play hockey. You're from Minnesota.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you a sports guy at all, Adrian, or no?
Yeah, always loved sport. I used to play soccer when I was a kid. Well, I played up until I was to my early 30s. I'm a tennis fanatic. I love tennis.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do that.
That's something. I think that might be a comedy routine. Like if Izzy and I were to try to play tennis.
Oh, but, well,
I got a racket.
We could try it. One time.
I got a racket.
You do?
I haven't played yet. I'm still recovering from my burrito injury. I hit the cement running for a burrito. I tore my rotator cuff, but I'm ready to go now. True story.
Oh, dear.
Absolute true story.
That is a true story. Chasing a burrito.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cool.
So we've got the California run. We got the UK after that, and then I know we've got Maiden later in the year for you. Richie, do you have anything coming up later after?
Yeah, I've got my agent in Europe who's got a bunch of dates for me, and they're all set. But we didn't lock them in yet because obviously we want to make sure we can do them. But hopefully I can do that. That would be at the beginning of the summertime, and then the United States, the agent here is putting dates together for me. So basically what I'm trying to do is put back all the dates that I had up before COVID. So I put out my record 50 for 50, and I had what would have been 4 continents of dates. And then obviously they all came down. So they're trying to put them back. And then the other thing is the Winery Dogs. We got together a couple times this past year, and that record is real close to being finished. So the perfect thing would be to do, at least obviously we're doing the dates with SK, and then when Adrian goes back to Maiden, I'll be doing my stuff and probably maybe cycle a Winery Dog thing, at the end of the year, beginning of next, maybe hopefully, because it's been 8 years or something since the first record. It's been too long. So
Wow.
it would be nice to do something. And 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Wait, it's been 7 years since the second record, not the first.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we'd like to get something up.
Well, then I suppose after that is the stuff that you guys are working on together right now. Is that going to be after all of that, or is that going to come out in the middle of it? What do you think?
Come out at any time. I mean, it just depends on when it lines up. I mean,
Yeah.
the timing was perfect to put it out when we did.
Mhm.
And you know, and the approach is always to not worry about, at least for me, not worry about when, but just make sure that you have something that you like. And so it's even the same thing with the Winery Dogs, you know, like once the thing's done, you know, I'm putting it out there. Oh yeah, end of the year, but who knows? Once it's done and we all like it, we can talk about releasing it. With Adrian and I, who knows? We might get our music written before then. So it just depends on what happens and where it goes. But I always like to let the music dictate, you know, when it's coming out and this and that, rather than say, oh, I'm putting a record out in February, and then February rolls around and you only got 6 songs that you like, and then you're behind the gun, you know, putting out material that you don't want to release. So my opinion on it.
Are you thinking of going back to the Turks and Caicos? You recorded Turks and Caicos, right, for the first one?
Yeah, we did a bunch there.
I've seen pictures of that studio. It's amazing. I mean, is it just a great experience down there?
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful place to work. I mean, it's you know, you've got to, well, it's a few distractions there, but it's not a party town. But
Right.
Natalie's in the kitchen going like,
you know, she loves Turks and Caicos as well.
Well, Richie, I'm sure you were so inspired when you went there because you got to ride in the van to the airport with me.
What do you mean?
Because you went there right after you left the cruise.
Oh, I went straight. Oh, you took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the van with you. Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
For a minute, I'm thinking, man, I don't remember him in Turks. Am I getting that?
I was there. I was in disguise as your cabana boy. So I actually was there, Richie, believe it or not. But you guys got any final parting words before we hit the outro music and say goodbye?
Parting words, parting comments. Well, you know, we'd like to thank people for anyone who's going to come out to the shows. We, you know, really appreciate the support. People who bought the album and you know, said good things about the album. It's nice, you know, it's very gratifying. So thanks for that.
Yes, thank you very much for the support. And it's great that we got an opportunity that lined up that we can actually, you know, do these shows. We're very excited. Yeah. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun for us.
Yeah.
And I want to thank both of you personally, Richie, for coming back. Adrian, your first time. This is the first time that, Richie, you've been on with Paul since we started doing this together. So much obliged. I'm going to hit the outro music. Just hold on. We'll say goodbye off the air. All right, here we go. Hit up if you're in Southern California or you're in Las Vegas. Smith Kotzen coming up. I'm excited. I'm excited by the records, by the EP. On behalf of Paul Gargano, hit him up at Paul Gargano. Hit me at Real Lizzie Presley all the way across the board. Richie Kotzen, Adrian Smith, thank you so much. So honored. We will see everybody next week. I don't know what we got going on, but we'll figure something out. My name is Izzy Presley, and all 10. I love you all. See you guys next week.
All right.